we're with Nina Simons, the co-founder of Bioneers at the Bioneers Conference here in San Rafael. Hi, Nina. Thanks for coming and joining us tonight.
Hi, Baylan. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. Could you tell us, what does Bioneers do?
Sure. We act like sort of an environmental and social star search. You know, we identify people who have come up with amazing solutions to many of our most challenging environmental and social problems. And what we realized is a lot of people know about the problems, but they don't know about this incredible abundance of diverse solutions that are possible. And so it kind of reveals the new world that's possible today. We bring together all these folks across a lot of different disciplines that are usually kept in isolation to really show how interdependent and interconnected all these issues actually are. So it's a very exciting combination of everything from social justice to faith-based work to environment and how do we have clean air and good food and healthy water for all of us for a livable future. And, you know, we integrate in with that like women's leadership and youth leadership and economics and all these different realms. And so it's a very exciting way to see the world that's possible now if we can just gather our will and our intention together to work for it together. So we do an annual conference, and then we also record everything. We create a radio series out of that that's currently on over 500 stations, 60 of which are outside the U.S. And we have a book series, and we do DVDs, and we're getting ready to launch much more of a presence online so people can access these materials because they're really incredible examples of the leaders we all can be. Not that we need to be like each other, but there's so much inspiration in seeing how people are really connecting what they love and care most about with a need for reinvention in the world to really show how big a difference one person can make.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you started 23 years ago. How do you see the difference between what it was like back then and how we are absorbing these things now?
Oh, it's a good question. 23 years ago, it felt like we were way ahead of our time. And part of how we knew that, I think, was that, we've always had a very strong commitment to showing multiculturalism in all its forms. And so we always really cared about having an equal proportion of men and women. And it was hard to find enough women leaders back then. It was hard to find women in the sciences, and it was just hard to find women who were both leaders and great storytellers. And now there's just this incredible abundance of people that we have to choose from. So that's one way it's different. And another way it's different is that back in 1990, not a lot of people were thinking about sustainability. And we're really aware of how our human activities were affecting things like the weather and the tides and the quality of our drinking water and our food, and how those things are related to justice issues, and how often poor people don't get the healthiest food or get toxic industries situated right near their communities. And so, this question of environment and justice, oftentimes people tend to think of them as really different spheres, when in fact they're completely interrelated. And until we address them as one whole, we're never going to change it. So that's another way that it's different, and I think the changes in the weather have been happening so radically and so quickly that whether you agree with the science or not doesn't seem to matter anymore, because everyone knows the weather's a mess, and everyone knows that water and food are getting harder to find and harder to count on and more expensive. And so, in a way, what used to be sort of a fringe issue has become much, much more mainstream.
Mm-hmm. So that does lead to my next question. How far-reaching do you think the work has been since you've begun?
Well, it's hard to know. I think we encountered a bias when we first started that many funders and people said, oh, a conference, what difference is that going to make? I think what we've learned is that we have educators who actually borrow from their retirement accounts in order to bring their students to the conference. And that's exceptional to me. That's really evidence of how profoundly they know that it impacts these young people's lives. Similarly, it's hard to know how the radio influences people. It's a very powerful radio series. It's available for free on our website. According to the numbers, we could be reaching 100 million people. And that's a pretty significant number. And we have increasingly started outreach in different parts of the world. And so, we had Bioneers Global Conference a few years back in Amsterdam, and another one at Findhorn in Scotland. And we hope to do more in the future. So, I think that the kinds of issues and the kinds of stories that we focus on are of interest to people all over the globe.
If you were to identify one issue that is the most pressing issue right now for us to address, what would you say?
Well, I am a woman who has addressed many issues in my life, and many of them are really important to me. And yet, I think if I had to pick one, it would be unleashing the capacity and power of women to stand on behalf of our Mother, the Earth, and on behalf of the love and the world and the caring that we know is needed to move forward in a healthy and conscious way together. And that because we're more than half the world, really helping women stand alongside and with and at each other's backs across the difference of race and generation and class and ability and education, to really stand with each other on behalf of the world we know we want and need. That would be it.
Okay, so what would be the best way to address this? I know you have a wonderful women's leadership program.
We do. Well, I'm sort of creating ways to address it every time I turn around. We have a beautiful book that's actually a compilation of many of the stories of my teachers. And I'm very proud of it because it's being used in educational classes on multiculturalism and on leadership and also on women's studies. And one of the things I'm proud of is that it has a few men in it. So it's not only a women's book, it's about reclaiming the feminine within us each and all, because this is bigger than a women's issue. Of course, all the studies now are proving that as we improve the lot and the dignity and the power of women, everything around us improves. From environment to social justice, to children, to education, to equity, to environment. So to me, women are a trim tab. We are the fastest leverage point to shift our course toward a healthy and whole future. So we have the book, and we do women's leadership intensives that are 6-day residential trainings for a diverse cohort of about 20 women. And we're putting more and more material online. We have women's leadership collections that are a combination of DVDs and audio materials. And what I love about them is, Gloria Steinem said, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And part of what I realized about women and leadership is we don't have enough examples of women of every ethnicity and age standing on behalf of a whole variety of different issues. And so all of our work, our program is called the Moonrise Bioneers Women's Leadership Program, and it's a mouthful, but all of it is about elevating these examples and these films and these stories of women of every shape and size and color and background standing on behalf of all these different issues in all these different ways. And so I think by example, we teach each other and we open up new possibilities. And that's really one of the ways that I'm excited for our work to ripple out.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's exciting times. So if people wanted to know more about your work and your different programs, how would they contact you?
Well, probably through the Bioneers website, which is bioneers.org. And as I said, over the coming months, these collections will be rolled out, and I think they'll be available for streaming for free. And they can also get on our mailing list by emailing us at women@bioneers.org. So please do. We'd love to have you part of the team.
And so next year there'll be another conference?
Knock on wood.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Baylan.
you.
Good to be with you.
Good to be with you.